Welcome all to the fading glow of daytime in Kennesaw. It's with a wide Georgia grin that we bring you in close for another playing of the beautiful game. Here, match week 7 of the MLS Next Pro year, it's Atlanta United 2 and Carolina Core in each other's company this evening. A set of sides looking for the groove in the early season. The pastels this time of year are certainly pretty, but folks, make no mistake, we're coming up on the serious bit now. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Gallagher, here to bring you across the 90 minutes set to commence here tonight. Atlanta United 2 and Carolina Core. Once more, they played each other 3 times last season. Core taking the last 2 of those. Atlanta United 2, after a 1-2-2 start and a resounding defeat at the hands of Philadelphia Union 2, hoping to get a good response after a 10-day bit of respite. For Carolina Core, similar story, 1-2-2 on the early campaign for Donovan Ricketts, a group that is star-studded in the attack and trying to compile some positive results in consecutive road dates here today, coming off a penalty kick victory against Toronto FC 2. And as for Steve Cook, the 4-2-3-1, the designated formation, and it is certainly led in the center of things by the ever-dangerous Ryan Carmichael, trying to get his first Atlanta United 2 goal here today. Moises Tablante, a fireball down the right-hand flank. He will be backed by Javier Armas, the captain, and Sesok, also dangerous in those wide spaces getting around Tablante. Something to keep the pulse of as we progress throughout this contest here today. As for Carolina Core, starting 11, that is led by a player in the figure of their captain, Jacob Evans, who has been effervescent in the early start to this season, as he has compiled 5 goal contributions across the competitions, including the Open Cup. No Pachi Polanco in the starting 11 here today. Stepping in will be Joshua Rodriguez. He will occupy the spot of number 9. And then on the left, Zion Scarlett, an accomplished veteran player, 20 years of age, but serious professional experience in the USL ranks, will be on the left wing. For Donovan Ricketts, it's all about pressing, applying pressure to the opponents. That will be the tact taken by this group from Carolina here in this one. Well, we are certainly happy to have you along. It is a spotless day. Last time Atlanta United 2 took to this patch of theirs, it was doused in rain, forcing them to stay play for the next day. They finished the match that time out against Inter Miami 2 indoors at Mercedes-Benz Stadium the next morning. That is their lone victory of the season. Again, Carolina Core winning in the shootout last time out against Toronto SC2. It was a strong performance from them on the day. Got the goal first, got pegged back, and were able to steal their nerve enough to claim the extra points in the shootout. Steve Cook was excited for this challenge for his group. It was a bitter taste against Philadelphia Union 2. Something that everybody that's in the wings of this Atlanta United 2 program has stewed on the last couple days. A chance to look themselves in the mirror and try and examine exactly what would be required going forward in the season. The response has been good, in the words of the gaffer. Now it's time to make proof positive. Last time in the home digs, Moises Tablante scored a pair of goals against Inter Miami 2, hoping to keep his good form going in his first season with the Hammers. In the white, it's Carolina Core, striped and stricken in black and red, Atlanta United 2. All eyes on the center circle. Jeremy Shearer is our center official. He will turn the light green. Off and underway. Match week 7, a midweek tie between Carolina Core and Atlanta United 2 is in motion from Fifth Third Bank Stadium here in Kennesaw, Georgia. Again, Peyton Gallagher in your ears this evening to take you across the breadth and width of the 90 minutes. We hope to be breathless. Straight away, you'll want to take notice of Carolina Core's shape. Staunchly committed to that 3-back setup. Wingbacks will be in pronounced position throughout. Tablante picking one up. Moises Tablante skipping away to the end line and aiming in across. No one there to latch on. And slashed away by Core. Both sides looking up at the playoff picture. Plenty of room to make the move. But it's not been a stable commencement to things this season for either side. Dunham moonlighting in as the left back today. Dominic Chung-Kui was sent off against Philadelphia in the last match, so he will serve that suspension here today. First choice left back throughout the course of this early season. Armas, it falls away from Wessa, and foul is awarded. Chica holding the baton in the center of that back three. Center back that's had experience collegiately and professionally in the USL Championship and League One. Got the chance to speak with the young man ahead of this contest, and you could just tell the smile across his face. That's a player that's really coming into himself in terms of confidence, the first time in his professional career with certain and consistent repetition. He's been a mainstay, starting all 5 prior matches for Carolina Court. His side prepare themselves for a throw-in. On the turn, Jacob Evans. He's dispossessed. Carmichael in the groove and stepped away by Chica, who blows a tire. One back by Atlanta United 2. It's Carmichael, unable to tame. Miller prods away and all the way clear. At the feet of Mazzaferro, now Ronan Wen. Sesak. Press, not necessarily forthcoming from Core straight away. Skewing switch is knotted out of touch by Zion Scarlett. Lofted in by Sesak. Atlanta United 2 unable to make it stick at the first blush, but well won in mid-park by Cooper Sanchez. Play is once more deadened. Armas, a check of the rear view, and recycling the play. Dunham. Sesak, a cross in from deep. Sliding over the head of the intended target. And hammered clear. To Blante. Like he may have absorbed some contact. Atlanta United 2. Can't get a reading of the plot. Sesak. Always strong strides on the ball from him. And Armas angles in the approach from his own half. Javier Armas. Wessa. Atlanta United 2 trying to trigger and get the ball back. They succeed. Core can't get outside of their own half to start this game. 5 minutes in and they've hardly ventured across the midfield stripe. Always compact, always condensed behind the ball, Carolina Core. You might so-call defensive organization their core tenet, if you would. And yes, the pun was intended. This is Javier Armas. Atlanta United 2 from line to line using the full width. Just trying to pull the opponent's shape apart. That's a well-weighted pass to Blante. Measures in a cross and measures too heavy. Now we get a a chance to see if the Foxes can escape the confines of their own half. Alex Sutton is the starting goalkeeper. And it's a giveaway. Tablante grabs hold. Tablante ducking and diving and dumped to the pitch. He's won a foul. It's in prime real estate for delivery. Tablante just circling back, and easy to see there that he got stepped on. Tablante. Chica was the one to rise to it. And Core grab hold for a throw. Katarzyna Wasiak and Austin Holtz join Jeremy Shear running the lines as the ARs today. Now Alexandru Focia is the fourth official working the board. Chica. Miller. In for Leonardi. That's good work on the ball. Carmichael serving into the back post. Nobody's help. Wessa in the closest proximity there, making the spot start today. Atlanta United 2 with injuries in and about the first team have filtered a couple players up to help out and ensure the back end of the bench. Seen a lot of rotation in this first selection for Steve Cook. Notably without Will Riley today, came in Togashi. Missed a few others. Stumbling in, onto it. It was Tablante ever involved again. This is roped out towards the touchline, and it's a throw coming. Tablante takes another spill. Tablante in a stern conversation with Jeremy Shear. Evans picking it up, quickly crowded off the ball. We are now 10 minutes into this game. I'm not sure Carolina Core have had a touch in the opponent's half yet. This is the exhausting part, the part where players are asked to suffer a bit. Atlanta United 2 firmly in command. A line-splitting pass, a stabilizing touch. And filtered wide to Tablante, never makes its way there. Leonardi has the cover. You see it, a stark contrast in the possession. Nearly 3/4 in favor of the home side. Lurched in. Wessa went up for it again. All the second balls belonging to Atlanta United 2. Can they do something with this possession? It is a game of ebbs and flows. You are best served taking advantage of those moments of flow. The game has a funny way of punishing you when you don't. Now a chance to apply the pressure. Sloped in towards Tablante, who chests it down. buckets up out of the dugout really for the first time today. Carmichael bending to the byline. It's another goal kick. Chica. And Miller again. Chica taking some space before beaming long. Unable to keep it on. Just a bit faulty for the first touch from Zion Scarlett. Despite all this holding of possession, though, Atlanta United 2 yet to really manufacture a meaningful opportunity. Proceeding back deep into their own half to maybe try and draw their opponent forward now. First touch of the game for Jaden Hibbert. The goalkeeper is right and ready to get involved. Perfectly placed pass wide for Wessa. Wessa skins his man, slides one in, and Alex Sutton puts an end to it. For all the motion and movements on the ball for Atlanta United 2, what ultimately maybe comes closest to picking the lock is a direct bit of distribution from the goalkeeper. Route one, opening up the game. Wessa unable to guide the cross through into useful space, though. That's a sturdy tackle to Blante. Bodies back in force behind the ball for Carolina Court. Dunham. Many times when folks see a 3-4-3, initially what they'll imagine is wide players in that front three. More on that thought here in a moment. Wessa. Spun in for Neri. A needling ball into the area, and it's ultimately biteless for Alex Sutton. But just finishing out there, what you'll see from Carolina Core is much more tucked-in wingers, as the width will be provided by the wing-backs. That helps with the defensive state of the game. Those players walling off the middle of the field. As this particular portion of the match is presented by broadcast sponsor Emory Healthcare. And finally, on the front foot, Paul Leonardi. Jacob Evans. He has been a thorn in the side for Atlanta United 2. Last season, across the three meetings, had a handful of involvements in scoring tallies. 2 goals for him and 3 assists. All of those coming in the last 2 engagements between these two sides, both won by Carolina Core. The other of the 3 was a 4-0 thrashing provided by Atlanta United 2. Armas. Played it a touch too narrow. Evans and Chica, plenty of room on the ball. The speed to Leonardi. Evans spinning and twisting, but he's once more wrangled by Javier Armas. That's a crafty touch that opens things up. Getting forward for a second there was Ronan Wen. Atlanta United 2 have lost custody. Leonardi came off the back of the defender. Zion Scarlett, the wide man. Evans, a feints. Once more flushed from the ball. He's not had it easy today. Jacob Evans. Wessa catching up. Carmichael providing a run downstream. Omas. Dunham. Chica is there. Now Evans. Left behind Leonarde. Slid back by Tablante. There you have it. Nearly 70% of the possession. Talking to these coaches, though, it's all about using it. The number itself means very little. Atlanta United, too, have been a bit wasteful with this much of the ball at their feet. Just not that penetration in the final third yet. Wriggling into mid-park, Sesak. Wessa. Sesak again, who led Miami 2 last year in the category of assists. Both he and Carmichael joining up from that Inter Miami 2 program. Canetti. Now wide for Evans. Feels like Atlanta United 2 are drawing a hard line, forcing Carolina Core to try and play wide in that first phase of build-up. Bring those wingbacks in deeper. Not a lot of space being provided right now. The likes of Facundo Canetti. Santiago Cambindo, another man in the pivot today. Here's Canetti. And one back by Wen. Wessa spots the spare man. It's Tablante onto the left. Moises Tablante, a thunder strike. Rhythm and rhyme, Atlanta United 2 strike out on their own. Pressure burst pipe. And the home side are smiling. Tablante, a little bit loose with the first touch, but onto that left foot. And that is clean and calculated at a tight angle. I'm not sure he stuck the landing, but the goal counts all the same. That's 3 goals in 3 games from Moises Tablante, who's enjoying the Southern hospitality in his new digs. A player that Steve Cook just gushed about in talking to us in the build-up. Talked about his habits, his professionalism, his hunger, but also something that was quite refreshing to hear from a coach developing young players. His flair and personality. So much of the modern game has become about measured tactical approaches and making the right decisions. He applauded, Steve Cook did, Tablante's ability to be spontaneous and do exactly what he just did. And they've quite frankly tried to bring more of that out of him since he's arrived with Atlanta United 2. You heard the sound of that collision, and no doubt, a quick caution. Jeremy Shear. Braden Dunham, the one who sees his name taken.
23rd minute, number 61, Braden Dunham.
And a chance for some quick get back from Carolina Core FC. Now it should be said that in both the most recent two meetings, one of these sides able to nose ahead before the other one was able to level it at some stage. Of course, Core won both of those contests. Both those games were 1-1 at some stage in the competition. Core could quickly grab one back here. It's Drake Hadid. Served from Hadid. Marches back Hibbert, who just watches it rainbow out and over the frame. So Dunham's indiscretion on the yellow card goes unpunished. And Core go back to the drawing board, trying to work out how to dig themselves out of this early hole. Hadid. A delightful little delivery, and even better touch to take it down by Leonardi. But Tablante pays no mind. He's won the whistle again. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher Insurance, Risk Management, and Consulting. Evans puts a leash on the ball and slips it ahead, but Zion Scarlett doesn't have enough gas in the tank. Turned wide. And turned away. It's the first corner of the match. There's plenty of size in this Core squad. A serious threat being posed from the flag. Within swing from Hadid. Didn't get over the first hurdle. And striking out on the break, the boy in the bright boots, Moises Tablante, with reinforcement arriving and just trucking his way forward was Cooper Sanchez. Some litigation on the tangle, and Core are able to dodge away there. If you're just now joining us, Moises Tablante is the point of difference. A lovely, well-taken goal from a flush angle at the near post. Just about 5 minutes past. Defining the terms of engagement going forward. Carolina Core trying to chase this one back down. Chica lost his footing as he let go of the ball. Luckily for him, it was Hadid right in the flight path. Campinto, Hadid. These are pretty patterns being woven by Carolina Core. Evans spinning his wheels. Oh, this is wonderful stuff. The cross. And just able to step in front. It looked like it was Cesar tracking back, and he's paid the price for that defensive involvement. I think it was Zion Scarlett who was the one camping out, making that last man run, and just left the knee straight in the Cesar's back. more, though, showing some much belated attacking intention. Miller steps in, a hearty challenge. Hadid growing ever involved. Drake Hadid! My word! A grass cutter of a goal. That skips straight into the woodwork and rebounds in and level again. Parity in the Peach State, delivered by Drake Hadid. This is so well taken. After finally taming the ball, understood exactly how much space he was in, and plastered a pass into the bottom corner. Hibbert caught flat-footed there. And a bit against the run of play. Core had been growing into the game. Back on level terms a half hour in.
Carolina Core FC goal in the 29th minute, number 8.
Not on header. Atlanta United 2 trying to get it right back and escorted out of play by Chica for a throw. A long throw and a calm claim from Alex Sutton. A little bit wayward on the distribution, though, and quickly swooped back into custody by Atlanta United 2. Away by Hibbert, intercepted in the mid-park. Core wants something sustained. United 2 backed off. The knockabout in full procession for the Foxes. Swept in behind. Evans with a cheeky bit of movement to latch on and lift in across. Hibbert has gloves to it, and play is stopped. Any chance of a potential head injury, and they're gonna quickly close play. You saw the referee pointing towards his cranium. Evans did so well to maneuver into a dangerous spot. Hibbert arrived there first. Looks like it was Joshua Rodriguez who absorbed the contact and is being treated right now. He'll have to come off the pitch at least for a moment. Make sure he's properly examined. Progress back into play. This portion of the match is sponsored by Adidas. First it was Moises Tablante to throw the gauntlet down, then Drake Hadid had the answer. That's what has us at 1-1 currently. Bit of a risky pass. Miller in a tight spot. Not Sure he got the contact he was hoping for there. Out for a throw. Pushed wide. To Blante in the back door. And it's going to carry out over the line. Under duress, building out the Foxes. And they've comported themselves with a bit of composure and might reap the reward soon as they make their way up towards midfield. Evans settling the tempo. To Blante. Slide draw pass that just skids beneath the studs of the oncoming runner. That was Rodrigo Neri. You see the possessional split has come closer to that even share, as Carolina Core have certainly introduced themselves to the contest after falling behind 1-0. Extends a long drought for clean sheets. Atlanta United 2, dating back to the late stages of last year. When skipping a line. Zion Scarlett hasn't had much joy bombing up and down the wing so far. Atlanta United 2 have made it difficult for him to find much space. Shot in behind, off the head of Neri. And it's going to come to a stop at the feet of the goalkeeper, Alex Sutton. Is there another twist to the tail in these next 10 minutes ahead of halftime? Atlanta United 2 certainly trying to provide one. Rodriguez trying to get rid. He stepped on the ball. He's going to trickle out over the end line, and Carolina Core certainly happy to take a goal kick there. Atlanta United 2 have picked and chose their moments to get forward and apply pressure at the back. A suave bit of service, running onto it. Leonardi. And strong knuckles at the near post from Jaden Hibbert. Pushing it out of play for a corner kick. Nobody had checked their shoulder for the spearman run of Paul Leonardi, who carved onto his right foot and met that with certain sting. The goal scorer now return provider, Drake Hadid, draws his attention into the area with outswing. Leonardi again. Coming in front of a man to gain it back. Hadid and wide for Zion Scarlett, who's contested by Sesak. Chica goes for goal. Hibbert required into action, showed it a bit of interest. A second ball. Leonardi taking it onto his left and lashing wide. Would have taken some technique to get that to wrap in. Chica allowed time enough to imagine himself up in lights. Here's the try from Leonardi. Came closer with his first effort for sure. Never going to look at a player cock-headed though, when trying their luck from in that close, afforded so much green grass. Hadid. This has been a high-class response from Carolina Court after the early concession. Just put the ball to sleep with the first touch, Leonardi. Evans dropping deeper and deeper, articulating himself from the midfield stripe. Cut out. Diving in for the second ball, a pair of players, and foul is one. It was Carmichael who arrived just ahead of Jacob Evans. Nasafero. Off the head of Carmichael. To Blante. Streaming forward. Spots Neri, who's roped down by Miller, who's going to see a caution for stopping the attack. And easily, you can imagine a future in which one of these Atlanta United 2 players has license to go for goal from this range. Harry was quick to go to ground, and it yields what looks like a fruitful, potentially, opportunity from a dead ball. There is room enough to get the ball up and down over the wall, central enough to imagine where whoever does take this could go for either side of the goal. Advanced calculus from Alex Sutton to try and work out exactly where to place his barricade. Captain Armas and Moises to Blante. Moises to Blante! Turns it wide. Looked like Sutton had it covered. That was ambitious. Instead of trying to get it to go up and down, instead trying to sneak it inside the posts. easy release valve. Miller. It's another player that struggled to get their bearings on the surface there, but Miller atones well. Atlanta United 2 jumping down. Trying to bite the ball back, and they do. Miller, a bull in the China shot. Just burying himself amidst the bodies and able to get away to the other end. Elsewhere in the league, Tacoma continues their parade of goal scoring. 3 goals to 1 against Sporting Kansas City there. Other action and swing across the Eastern Conference today. Philadelphia Union 2 and New York City FC 2. Of course, this Philly side is the one that saw Atlanta United 2 most recently, just over a week past. Can't imagine there's going to be much in the way of stoppage time. The half has been pretty fluid across the 44 so played minutes. Miller trying to stick with it. Can't pick up the pieces to Blante. A little bit loose on the first touch, but strikes a ball downfield. Neri goes over and shoulder to shoulder with Chica. Canetti. Oh, Canetti. And then he puts the pass in the wrong spot, falling at the feet of Tablante. Carmichael can't solve the Rubik's, and it's with Hadid. Leonardi widened out for Evans, who hops on his horse and arrives. Jacob Evans, Leonardi, and Hadid. Carolina Corps setting up camp in the final third. Expecting about 2 minutes of stoppage time. There is confirmation. Line splitting ball for Evans. This is Paul Leonardi serving in with swerve. Scarlett trying to keep his feet inside the box, and he's interfered with Sesok there. It's a free kick for Atlanta. Shuttled into the open space in behind. Looks like it was Carmichael who struggled to settle it out. And on the front foot, Carolina Corps. Canetti, Evans, a 2-man game. And Evans again and Canetti again. Canetti. Leonardi. Tablante comes in to provide the help. Carmichael's up with it. Ahead of him is Wessa. Wide of them is Sesok. In the path of Wessa now. Maybe one last move in the half. Dunham. Tablante. The game at his feet. In by Dunham. Only man in the region is a goalkeeper. Alex Sutton, inseparable after the first frame. 1-1 is where we stand between Carolina Corps and Atlanta United 2. The home side struck out in front early, only to have that lead quickly and swiftly rescinded by Drake Hadid, and that is what the terms are. Ahead of the team talks from the managers as we hit the break. Once more, our score at this point at the half is 1-1. Let's look back at the MLS Next Pro goal of the week here. It comes in the form and fashion of Ibrahim Kassoulay. the winner of this distinction. 2-1 at this point, and it became 3-1 with a quickness. That is a wonder strike from the young man. A touch and a take to remember against Chicago Fire as he rockets it past the goalkeeper and pushes the lead once more to 2. Another look at it with outswing that second ball when it falls into zone 14. It's always a threat, and you do not hit it better than that. Just sneaking in under the bar. Goalkeeper just left in the lurch to watch it fly into the back of his net, and the Bulls are flying there. We set to step aside. We've got highlights from earlier this week and player profiles to come. Folks, stay with us.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, 'cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake, and I take what I make and I flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like, so looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself, and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself, and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Action.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Welcome back to Georgia, where once more it's 1-1 at the break between Carolina Core and Atlanta United 2. It's time for a player feature. Let's get to know Huntsville City's Christian Kofi.
That's a poor pass, and it may open up space for Kofi against his former side. Christian Kofi scores!
Kofi, an excellent move as he sends the ball out wide. Cross comes in, and Christian Kofi, he is extremely dynamic.
Christian Kofi has had quite an international journey. He spent time in the Monaco Academy, where he would see a young Kylian Mbappe learning his craft. He's played for clubs in France, Italy, and Spain, before coming to MLS Next Pro with Chicago last season. And now, he's with Huntsville. So what drew him to MLS Next Pro at this stage of his career?
I will say the American dream for me to have the opportunity to come and play in America was crazy, like a unique experience. So I feel like year to year, like the level of the league evolves. They bring a lot of very good players for the MLS, but also for the Next Pro. So it's crazy. And
Kofi's experience with several different countries, coaches, and systems has shaped him as a player, such that his coach Chris O'Neill sees something truly special in him.
He has an ability that isn't often replicated, and I would say that he is a special player in the sense that, especially 1 versus 1, he has the ability to create off of a dribble, get out of tight situations, but then he also has the vision to be able to play a final pass that other players just don't see. And you know, I think for us, he's extremely exciting, and we're extremely happy to have him.
the MLS, I think the next step, it will be maybe for me it's the MLS. It's my target. And if it's not happen, I will just try to do my best to arrive the MLS. My goal is Huntsville. The minimum is the playoff, but for us it's like bring the trophy in Huntsville to our fans, because I think they deserve that. I think we have like for me, the best fan base in the league. And personally, it's like to be the best player in the league, if I can. Yeah, I will say that.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Action.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
What's up, guys? I'm April Marie Aguilar, coming to you from Florida, directly from IMG Academy, where we just witnessed an intense Sunshine State Derby. Let's take a look back at all of the action.
It's the Florida Derby, Inter Miami 2 against Orlando City B on match week number 5. Orlando City is looking to rise to the top of the charts, where Chattanooga is also at the top, while Inter Miami looks to make its push to the top of the table. The whistle blows. Shaq Muhammad starts us off here at MLS Next Pro at the 2025 Generation Adidas Cup.
From the start, both teams came out with energy, but it was Miami who struck first. Tyler Hall opened the scoring in the 16th minute with an assist by Bailey Sparks. It wouldn't be long before OCB equalized with Tahir Reed-Brown finding the back of the net in the 23rd minute. During the first half, we caught up with MLS Next Pro President and EVP Charles Alchek and Ali Curtis, MLS Next Pro SVP of Competition and Operations, to get their thoughts on this year's GA Cup.
For the Academy players who are here, from the players from around the world who are watching this game, they're getting a glimpse of what the potential is for the best young players in our system coming through our academies to our Next Pro teams.
This is probably the best youth tournament in North America, so for our young players to be able to experience what the next level looks like, in person, has just been a really great experience.
Just over 20 minutes later, right before halftime, Mateo Saja was assisted once again by Bailey Sparks. Miami took that lead into the half. While the players took to the locker rooms, we took this time to chat with some of the Academy players that were in attendance.
Why is it so important to watch these pros up close and personal?
Hey, it's a pleasure to just come watch in a beautiful atmosphere at this big tournament, come watch our team support. You just got to show love, because one day we could be on that field too.
Seeing them, seeing what the next level is like, seeing where you can see yourself fall into a team where you see what you need to work on, take the good habits, the good things out of them, and what you can see that you can apply to your game.
The second half kicked off with Miami continuing to apply pressure against Orlando City B. Idol Zeltzer Zubaira bagged what would turn out to be the match winner for Inter Miami 2 in the 55th minute. Both teams would fiercely contest the rest of the second half until Shaq Muhammad brought OCB back within one. But it was not enough, as the match would end 3-2 in Miami's favor.
There's a full-time whistle. It's 5 consecutive unbeaten for Miami in the Florida Derby. They withstand the late Orlando City burst to capture a 3-2 win.
Tonight was another perfect example of the pathway in action. Miami heads down south with 3 points, and for now, that's a wrap from us at this year's GA Cup. We'll catch you guys next time. Adios!
Action!
If I got it, then I bought it. Take a bite, cause I want it. And I know I got the taste for the cake. And I take what I make and I flaunt it, flaunt it. Got diamonds on my necklace. I live how I like. So looks is getting reckless. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe. You can't break my vibe.
Approaching the second half, it's all level between Atlanta United 2 and Carolina Core. 1-1 at the break here at Fifth Third Bank Stadium in Kennesaw, Georgia. The first half went by in a blink. Here is the rhythm of that competition to date and the halftime highlights between Atlanta United 2 and Carolina Core. Sent in motion straight away, and Atlanta United 2 would own the ball for the early part of the game. Really, the first chance they got to go backward, they immediately went forward. Wessa getting onto it and fizzing in what could have been a cross, but resembled a shot. Only to be stopped by Alex Sutton, but again, it's Wessa at the heart of things, locating Tablante, who swerved onto his left foot and absolutely laced one in at the near post. No style points for the celebration, but the goal counts. Atlanta at this point would be a goal to the good. Carolina Core would enter the competition with a mighty strike from Hadid, Drank Hadid, plowing one in from distance, getting things back level at 1-1, and the Foxes would be with their tails up for the rest of the frame, peppering the goal with a couple of chances here. Paul Leonardi getting in onto that right foot and banging one in to be beaten away by Jaden Hibbert. Then Chica would get a hold of one from distance. Hibbert would parry away. And these are the stats at the break. Both teams, 4 shots, 3 on target. Much of the possession flowed again through Atlanta United too early, but that came closer to 50-50 by the end of the half. Only a couple bookings to keep in mind. Braden Dunham and R.E.A. Miller, those who have had their names taken so far. As we look ahead, the upcoming schedule from in and around the league. At this point, the competition is certainly getting going. On Thursday tomorrow night, Colorado Rapids 2 and Minnesota United 2 will lock it up. Then on Friday, a standalone between Toronto FC 2 and Chicago Fire 2 in the East. And across the Saturday slate, you can see Carolina Core in action against Crown Legacy FC. Little competition in the Carolinas there for you, and Tacoma Defiance looks to try and stay hot against one of the best sides in the division, St. Louis City SC2. New England Revolution and New York City FC will also be on the marquee at the weekend. Back out to live pictures for you now. We're told that the sides are unchanged heading into the second frame. Hachi Polanco is on the bench whenever Donovan Ricketts does decide to reinforce his squad. 2 goals on the season for the tip of the spear for Carolina Core. The first choice 9, given a little bit of rest here today. Parasite trying to get back amongst the wins. United 2 to strike first. They have had a really difficult time the last couple of months, dating back to last season, of preventing opponents from at least getting the single goal. Again, that trouble rears its ugly head, seeing Core level the tie at 1-1. We'll see what kind of mentality Atlanta brings into the second half. It was such a strong start, coming off what was a tough defeat to take at the hands of Philadelphia Union 2, a game that just slipped away from them. Bit of a humbling experience for the bunch. Things slackened after they got the first goal, though. Once more, Peyton Gallagher taking you across the competition. Match week 7 in MLS Next Pro. Chested down. That's a smart ball. And swept wide. Hadid. And cutting in from the wide areas now. Leonardi blows by his man, but a sliding intervention. And having the last word was Braden Dunham, who gets involved in the attack now, but can't carry it past Canetti, who had the cover in midfield. Chica called into action. He's gone too stiff there with the tackle, and he's going to be booked. Only the captain is allowed to discuss things with the center official. It's a new rule here in MLS Next Pro as well as around the game. You saw Jacob Evans immediately going in to plead his case, the man with the armbands. As Chica laid out, arrived at the ball first, but maybe left the studs a bit too high as Rodrigo Neri was toppled. Atlanta United 2 wanted to take the free kick quickly, weren't allowed to do so. And this is exactly how it's supposed to play out. The referee engaging in a civil discussion with one cool-minded individual in the form of Jacob Evans, and things brought back to a simmer immediately after hard contact and a quick yellow card to start the half. Again, that is a new rule instituted in MLS Next Pro this year, where the only player invited to discuss anything with the official is the man who is the captain for the side at that time. Ronan went. Pushing ahead, Mazzaferro. Right for Sesak. On the 1-2, Wessa had loosed himself. Wessa into the gap. Still Wessa! Gabriel Wessa. Wonderstruck, the young man shuffling in on the left foot. With precision. Place and power. And in style, Gabriel Wessa throws another blow for Atlanta United 2. The baby hammer strike iron. Delivered back into the lead from a moment of sheer quality and brilliance. And Carolina Core once more find themselves pressed up against the canvas. Zion Scarlett, a taming touch. Scarlett barricaded into the corner, and it comes off about as good as you could hope for Carolina Core. It's a throw to them. Wessa had the cover. Zion Scarlett gets in line. Atlanta United 2 unable to fully get rid. Tablante just mishit it. Slicing in field. It's going to be a yellow card for simulation. The referee was emphatic. Well, let's take a look under the hood. And you see exactly why the official was so early to move to that yellow card. Joshua Rodriguez created just a little bit of space for himself and then dove down. And that name is immediately taken, so it's a pair of yellow cards shown to Carolina Core straight away. Hibbert flushes to the other end, off the chest of it looked like, I think it was Carmichael, who appears to have changed his boots at the halftime interval. That's a fine-tuned ball. We know what Hadid can do from these spaces. Tablante once more recovering, retracing his steps and providing some defensive bulwark. And there he goes again. And he's won the ball for Atlanta United 2. Neri on himself. And he's twisted down. And things starting to tense up a bit in half number 2. It wasn't as feisty and physical in the first frame. That goal woke the contest up straight away from Gabriel Wessa. It was Cambindo who left the leg out there. Two of the 3 backline members for Carolina Core now sitting on a booking. Chica and R.A. Miller. Atlanta United 2 with a goal in hand start to intensify the temperature. Wessa now with a goal and an assist for the game. Called into starting action somewhat quickly. Had the time off to plot and plan, but with injuries in the first team, there was always going to be some late action in rotation. Wessa had his number called, and 83 is the one that's defining the contest so far. Hibbert, it's not a confirmed clearance. Zion Scarlett puts himself amongst it. Scarlett in, out by Atlanta United 2. Armas able to take the sting out of the ball and allow his side to start to build out. Flown in towards Neri, over the head of Miller. Neri's gonna touch it down and recover it ahead of the touchline out there. Neri. Cooper Sanchez, smoothly wide for Sesak. Armas flies one out to the far side. Tablante in tune. Tilted it. Landed squarely on the head of Carmichael, who could not gain purchase of the ball inside the area. And hammered downfield. Onto it is Rodriguez. He's around the keeper. Rodriguez set for Evans. Jacob Evans is blocked. Moises Tablante again. The man has touched every blade of grass, and it's not all been glamour. Dirty hands in defense for Moises Tablante. But Carolina Core have the scent now. Down a goal. Miller. Atlanta United 2 requiring steal now. Back behind the ball in numbers. Leonardi guiding down the line, sniffed out again. Braden Dunham, Chica. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Emory Healthcare. Shuttled back into the goalkeeper, Alex Sutton. Sliding in to win the ball. It's Armas, it's Carmichael, it's Wessa. Already on one for the frame, back for Armas. Armas to the back stick. Glanced on, kept in play. Atlanta United too, a little bit disorganized defensively now. Really committed numbers getting forward after winning the ball high. Canetti. Home side organized again. It's a little bit risky to get the ball back to Hibbert, who's not taking any chances, just put full leather to it. Canetti. Scooped into the channel. Rodriguez, it's blocked, bravely so. Ronan Wen. A bit of heroic defending, as you saw exactly how close Atlanta United 2 had drawn to the opposing goal. It was a cheeky little ball over the top. Joshua Rodriguez has been lively in the half, but couldn't quite make anything of that chance. And at the hour mark, it's again wrapping at the door, Carolina Corps. Hadid, Evans. It fell kindly, but was crushed over the frame. You cannot spot a cross in much better than that right at the penalty spot. Again, it was Joshua Rodriguez at the heart of matters for Carolina Corps. Sweet spin. Cambindo starting to create some space as his side. Skid forward. Leonardi towering tall on the cross. This has been a game that's had a delicious tension to it. As soon as one side looks like they've got the reading of the competition, are ready to send into a perch atop the contest. The other one is quick to respond, and for Carolina Corps, this passage of play has really roared to life exactly what they can do with the ball. Had way more success moving through the center of the park before pushing wide than they did in the entire first half. It appears Donovan Ricketts has allowed maybe some of those wide attackers to drop in a little bit more and create the overload centrally. As it will be a throw-in, it appears, for Atlanta United 2. A core side that, as we mentioned before, has pressing in their DNA. They do it out of a 3-4-3. You'll see a lot of teams do the pressing tactic through means of a 4-4-2, a 4-1-4-1. Seeing more teams, though, starting to press in that three-back structure. It looks like sitting on a yellow card, R.A. Miller is going to be given the hook here as Ibrahim Kovi is prepared to come in at the next possible opportunity. Chica. Pablo Rodriguez and Chica again, now hounded. Neri's going to chase the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper. That forces the long ball. A core side that like to play short when they can will win a throw. They have averaged the shortest average distance of pass vertically in the league so far this year, only about 4 yards. As there is confirmation, Ibrahim Kovi, who has 4 starts under his belt on the year, will set up on the right side of that back three. R.A. Miller, again, is the one who makes exit. Crashed into the box and crashing down there straight away. It looked like Lenardi. It's going to be a yellow card this time for Moises Tablante. So that number is starting to soar as Miller comes off. It's Chica and Joshua Rodriguez who have had their name taken so far. On the core side of things, it's Tablante, Braden Dunham, who's seen the colors for Atlanta United too, and just worthy of mentioning again and keeping note of as the game intensifies. Those players have to be extra cautious, and this could be a useful free kick for Braden, or rather I should say Jacob Evans. Ibrahim Kovi fresh into the game, standing 6'3". It's sent in his direction. It's settled. Cambindo blocked. Carmichael the one who stepped in the path. Evans off the back heel. A sturdy bit of service, stood up. Juan Pablo Rodriguez goes down. No call. Cambindo again, blocked again. And finally away by Tablante. And it's going to stay on. And there's a raiding party rushing forward. Wes is wide. Carmichael struggling to sort it out. And the chances vanished. Carmichael betrayed by the bounce of the ball. Sifted wide. Sloped in over the top. Unable to pry things open. Wes up, letting it lie. Attaching himself is Carmichael. That is a wonderful ball. Sesak inverted. Unable to play the prime ball in behind though. Evans. Rodriguez. In for Evans. Cut back. And it's blocked. Evans was unselfish. And Carolina Core unable to get back level. Play is stopped. Evans with such a clever piece of movement. Knew exactly what he was doing with the ball as soon as it arrived at his foot. Unfortunately for him, Hadid had not read the same scripts. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Gallagher. Armas. Wessa. We know what he can do. Already with one today, as well as an assist. Plays provider here. It was a shapely ball. Tablante trying to win the second. Atlanta United 2 with grip. This is Javier Armas. And this is Alex Sutton, who distributes immediately, depositing wide. Zion Scarlett. Then United to have had a couple substitutions ready to come on for about 5 minutes here. Hope they've got popcorn. They're watching an enthralling game. Evans connecting the dots from deep. Cambindo coursing to the touchline. Lenardi. And Chica. And always at the center of things. Again, it's Evans. Everything orbiting around him. You see Atlanta United too clued into that fact with 3 of their striped shirts in his vicinity. What that means is there's space wide. Lenardi. Chica. Looks like Chica is maybe set up on the right side of that back 3 as Covey slots into the center. Chica is comfortable in both roles, and he better be. Atlanta United 2, probing and plotting. Back to Alex Sutton. Hadid running on. Hibbert again plays sweeper, and Tablante is taken down. So a whole platoon of substitutions being made. Looks like Jathan Juarez as well as Glory Nzingo, who was the hero against Toronto FC2. He'll get a chance to fill a similar role here today. And coming off is the man who put Atlanta United 2 ahead, Gabriel Wessa. A darling hit of the ball on the left foot. And that is how you make an impact. Injected into the starting lineup and writing his name all over the thing. Sanchez comes off, Aiden Torres comes on. It is only his second appearance of the early season. It's Patrick Weah that replaces Wessa in the wide space, and the goal scorer Hadid will come off. Zion Scarlett is retrieved. A player that's really struggled to bed in just because of injuries in preseason. Only his second start of the year here in this game. And clearly a little bit of bubble wrap still around him. Unable to play him behind, and wisely headed back by Ronan Wendt. And Wise is quite a fitting label for that player. Got a chance to speak with him this week ahead of the match. It's so clear the head on his shoulders is a good one. Coaching staff of Atlanta United 2 are very excited about his trajectory, his ability to keep his calm in adverse situations. His side smiling right now though. Carmichael needed a little bit more venom on that ball in, as it's easily caught by Alex Sutton. That's a smart ball. Touch in turn from Nzingo, who spots Leonardi around him. Leonardi headed on and clutched by Hibbert. See if Pachi Polanco gets his number called in these last 20 minutes or so. Rodriguez has been in the right spaces. Not the cutting edge in the face of goal so far though. Hibbert spreading wide. Cambindo was tracking back and took it off the toes of Neri. Canetti. Cambindo. We are hot on the heels of Cambindo. A little bit precarious here for Juan Pablo Rodriguez, who fizzes one across the goal mouth. Alex Sutton back in for Chica, who churns up the touchline. A little bit heavy-handed on the first touch from Jacob Evans. But that is a swoon-worthy delivery, and the first touch is for Jathan Juarez, who lines up the defender and loses the plot in the end, and tied and tangled. It will be a free kick. Chica. One cleanly. Quick involvement there from Aiden Torres. Carolina core losing the hounds a bit in the press. Evans chases it toward his own ends. This portion of the broadcast is sponsored by Adidas. Juarez, plenty of room to hatch a plan. Evans, a cunning first touch. Could not needle through the through ball. And sprinting away with it is Wen, who's toppled. Atlanta United 2 will make another change. Looks like it's Ashton Gordon who's at the ready. We'll have to wait in the wings. He's past this free kick, it appears. Hibbert. No rush from Atlanta United 2. Looking for their second victory. At least I should say their second 3 points of the season. Regulation victory as it's clawed away by Armas. Armas wide. Neri nudging it just outside the posts. Away quickly from the goal kick. Here's another look. Javier Armas, just an uprooting tackle, playing his game. And a tempo-setting pass wide that Neri spurns outside the target. Tablante has gotten involved. He's already on a booking. Tablante was quick to get in there, chopped his feet, and fullback has gone down in a heap. Charles Alenga, as well as Pachi Polanco, set to come in. Ashton Gordon replaces Ryan Carmichael. Carolina tapped out on substitutions. They made all 5 changes.
Entering the match, number 12, Zungchi Alenga. Also exiting the match, number 13, Joshua Rodriguez. Entering the match, number 9, David Polanco.
David Pachi Polanco, always a useful number at the top of a formation. Already good for 2 goals this year. First match coming off the bench for him on the young season. He will have fresh and sprightly legs. As this is risky, it's funneled away by Alex Sutton as Daniel Chica had put him in a tight spot. Wriggling in towards the corner. Neri can't bend away, but although he thought for a second he had won a corner, it will be a goal kick. Upcoming schedule for both these sides, a couple away games on tap. As Atlanta United 2 will set out north, date at SC Cincinnati 2 before heading back into the region, but staying on the road for a game against Huntsville City. It's back home for Carolina Core against Crown Legacy up next before trading places for the next couple games away at New York Red Bulls 2 to start the month of May. Then again, back at home against Huntsville City, and then away to Inter Miami 2. It's lapsed down over the line. Throwing on tap for Carolina Core, who carry the impetus heading forward if there is to be any more tightness in the tie. Bit of a smudging first touch there from Juan Pablo Rodriguez. Alenga grabbing hold. Wide for Chica. And wider still, the flag has popped up. Katarzyna Wozniak bringing play to a stop for offside. And this is a good test in game management for Atlanta United 2. Steve Cook was excited to see this senior opposition, I should say, for Carolina Core. A veteran-laden team. Obviously the average age a little bit higher for this group, as Hibbert has shown the yellow card for time wasting.
Atlanta United 2 yellow card in the 78th minute, number 42,
Chica.
Jaden Hibbert.
Cute across. Jathan Juarez. Polanco puts himself up amongst it, deking and diving away. Evans. Swiveling wide for Leonardi. Carolina Core rocking the ball to sleep. Touchline to touchline. Just investigating where the weak points in this Atlanta United 2 low block may be. Covey. Turn back for Chica. That's a useful touch. There's a wide option, instead going for goal, and Hibbert fashioned himself a worthy obstacle. Florian Zingo. It was a clean connection as he faded in onto his left. Goalkeeper was up to the task. He's already been booked for time wasting as he boots away. Headed back to Alex Sutton. Clean connections through the midfield. And able to play the defense-splitting ball, though, was Canetti, I should say, and foul has been awarded. Sesak struggled to settle it down, and seizing the opportunity was Jathan Juarez, who immediately was contacted and winning a free kick here, for which Jacob Evans certainly would have the club in his bag. Florian's in going. Jacob Evans with a quiver of arrows. Either could go for goal. It would be a stunner, but it would not be stunning. Jacob Evans. He had something mischievous in mind. It doesn't stick. Chica. Cheeky. Infield. And level. A Leonardi leveler. Carolina Core on even terms inside the final 10. Paul Leonardi. With laces and little doubts. Hibbert will feel he maybe should have done better, but that was hit with real steam. And Carolina Core are scheming again. Game on. A race to the tape. 2-2 here in Kennesaw. It came out of a somewhat sleepy sequence of play. A free kick routine that Carolina Core didn't make much of. And in that second phase, Atlanta United 2 just switched off a little bit. Leonardi allowed to advance uncontested. And knowing what was at stake, the wide man took aim and did not miss. And now it falls back to the shoulders of Atlanta United 2 to play the role of the resurgent side, Tablante. So it's Moises Tablante, whittling by Chica. He's run it over the line. He's just run out of road. In toward the box, Hibbert snuffs it out. Scooped in behind. Ball out of play. And a couple changes being made. Arif Kovac, as well as Caden Moore, the one summoned to see it out. Braden Dunham is the one who makes way, as well as Rodrigo Neri. So a new 9 on for Atlanta United 2 to try and give them some burst to get across the line. currently tied, and as we know by now, it's on to penalties straight away to decide who is able to secure the extra point. If these two sides can't find a point of difference over whatever is left in regular time. Leonardi, the one who put us here, back on even terms. Swinging into the attack, trying to fold one in for Evans. Oh, that is a hardy tackle. And Canetti may be a bit fortunate to get away from that unscathed, as Armas right there first, and you saw that somewhat scissoring action from Canetti down low. I don't think it was intentional that he went in like that. Canetti just contacted there and forced a twist while he was already on the ground, and ended up with a leg to either side of Armas. It could have been dangerous, and looks like Pachi Polanco's been booked for dissent in the wake. Again, he doesn't really have license to speak to the center official, so he must be mindful now. Armas. Pushed wide. Striking out is Caden Moore. Striking in is Caden Moore. Pushed off course by Carolina Core, as we will see another yellow card instantly there. Reeve Kovac stops the counterattack, and honestly, probably a smart play by him, as looked like there was plenty of room opening up for Core. It was a pretty solid swiveling touch as Canetti pivoted towards a flying space. It's actually Javier Armas that's going to see his name taken. Over the top for Polanco. I think he may have been offside. Sesak. To Blante. With invention. It's once more swatted out by Core. They look to hit hard on the break. They want to throw. Waiting on the board to go up and tell us exactly what separates us from the thrill of penalties. Core have won their last 3 penalty shootouts in league play. That dates all the way back to last year. Just won one away to Toronto FC 2. And United 2 trying to see that it does not get to the point of the spot. The game decided from 12 yards out. Armas. Could this be something? Gordon. Javier Armas again, metronomic as always. Torres. Atlanta United 2 have grip of it now. Sesak. Sesak. Skipped away by Chica. Oh, this is potential danger. Evans is taken down from behind. Looked like Core were quick to get out of the gate, and they still may be on the charge. Leonardi bodies into the box. Tablante can't take it. And Zingo off the chest. A stinging strike. Jaden Hibberts is able to put an end to what was a threatening move. Florian Zingo striking that one hard. Now Armas skids away from Kovac. A frantic and frenzied finish. Carolina Core in motion. Evans and acres of space, as is Leonardi. In front, Zingo! Miraculous save! Hibbert stumbled only to stand the tallest. And Zingo, not sure he meant that, bounced past it. It was angling for the back of the net. It wasn't glamorous goalkeeping, but holding his nerve in a tense moment was Hibbert. He must again, with outswing, initially away. 30 seconds left. Rodriguez. In Akers, Covey, the center back by trade, still up from the corner. In Zingo, again in Zingo. This time, probably the least lethal off his foot it's been. One last outlet. It looks destined for penalties. Penalties. Not enough between these two. This is the rightful place to end. It was 1-0 Atlanta United 2. It was 2-1 Atlanta United 2. But Carolina Core just would not let go. And it finishes at 2-2 after regular time. We step aside for a quick break. The thrilling conclusion on the other end.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
At the end of regulation, since the teams are tied on the scoreboard, the match will extend to a shootout, with each team having 5 attempts. If the teams are tied after 5 attempts, they will go to sudden death. The shootout winner will receive an extra point in the regular season standings.
So here is exactly what's at stake. Nobody's getting all 3 today, but one side can get a little bit more out of this if they can steal their nerve from the penalty spot. Winner of this shootout will get the extra points. Both have earned something, though. The fireworks from the match that was. Moises Tablante set us off in the first 25 minutes. A left-footed hit into a backflip. And it was 1-0 Atlanta, but later on in the first half, it was just a perfect hit of the ball. Cannot place it better, Drake Hadid. He made it 1-1 while the sun was still out. But after the sun set, that's where this game really started to pop off. Straight away into the second half, not 2 minutes in. Gabriel Wessa cutting into the D and streaming one past the goalkeeper, Alex Sutton. Wessa in full fashion, but late on, just beyond the 80th minute. Carolina Core coursing forward, and it would be Leonardi to splash one in and make it 2-2. And you see exactly how much it means. So those selected in the first 5, a chance from the spot. Atlanta United 2, Carolina Core 2 in Kennesaw, Georgia. These points so precious come decision day. It appears the captain will go first, Javier Armas. Down the years, you've seen the best taker go at that anchor position, not really the prevailing thought anymore. In soccer, you want to ensure that your best taker at least gets one effort. Here is Javier Armas. Little doubt. And that is why you have your best taker, your captain, go first. Not to be sped up in the moment, sent the goalkeeper the wrong way, and no looked it into the side netting. And it's a pair of captains off the rip. Jacob Evans, who so often has smiled in the face of Atlanta United 2, will get a chance from the spot to start things off the right way for the Foxes. Scored twice, assisted 3 times against Atlanta United 2 last year. Evans. Jacob Evans for Carolina Core. Guides it in beyond the outstretched glove of Hibbert. 1-1. Hibbert went the right way. Really had a chance at that one, just couldn't get the kind of thrust he needed with the jump to really meet it. It's Moises Tablante. Nobody in finer form for Atlanta United 2. The traction, the footing is something to keep in mind of. We've seen players throughout the game slipping. Watch the plant foot. It's going to be a short run up for Moises Tablante in the face of Alex Sutton. Moises Tablante over the glove. It was at savable height, and Sutton knows it. Here it is. Anytime the ball travels in that middle region between the post and the center of goal, it's always going to give the goalkeeper a chance. Sutton's taking his gloves off. The goalkeeper will take the penalty. So here is Alex Sutton against his contemporary, Jaden Hibbert. Gloves literally off. Sutton, and that is why he's taking them. Perfect. You do not hit a penalty better than that. Pressure back on to the home side. Time being taken so the goalkeeper can bask in his own accomplishment and fasten his mitts once more. Sending the ball as he likes. Sal Mazzaferro. Javier Armas has been shown a yellow card. It's little matter now. Mazzaferro strokes it in. Nobody to flinch yet. And the pressure intensifies. That is a stoic strike. And a lively reaction. dueling yellows, in fact, behind all of this, as Juan Pablo Rodriguez has also been booked. Third of the season for him. Only a cliff note, only relevant if accumulation becomes an issue down the line. That is not on the mind, though, of Ibrahim Kobe. Substituted into this game, Ibrahim Kobe heaves it high. Atlanta United 2 take the inside track. Kobe sends one skyward. And Alex Sutton will be asked here to try and erase the deficit. To bring it within one kick. Aiden Torres, a stop, and stricken away. Alex Sutton held his dive, held his nerve, and holds his side level. Cornell must make their kick to stay on even ground. They have the chance, though, because of their goalkeeper. He scored from the spot. He's made the save. And it's Pachi Palancos. A steely-eyed gaze from Jaden Hibbert. Pachi Polanco. Yes. Put a hole in the target in the top corner. That is a classy take from the spot. Now Caden Moore, the last player subbed on for Atlanta United 2. Those legs are newly warmed. Moore buried. So core must connect. Who among them brave enough? Caden Moore, a looping run up. And it's just a laser. Alex Sutton saying that he was inches away. It would have taken a strong finger to deter that effort. So it falls to Facundo Canetti. He scored twice last time he saw Atlanta United 2. He's got a taste for the back of the net against this side. Canetti to keep it alive. Was never in doubt. So beyond the guaranteed, beyond the game, in the 90 minutes it consisted of. Round 6 from the spot, and it's because of this, Facundo Canetti. Four to 4 after 5. We had to come good. Had to come good. Always dicing with danger with that stop and start run up. The goalkeeper on balance, on his toes, but not on time enough to arrive, take that off its plotted path. And once more, a real chance for Jaden Hibbert to play here out. Paul Leonardi. He got us here. His goal leveled things just beyond the 80th. Call upon again. The man from Marseille, Paul Leonardi, it's saved! Jaden Hibbert emerges from the phone booth with the extra point in hands. A super stop, and Atlanta United 2 passed the endurance test. The home side on their home patch come across the line. It's a photo finish. What a game. A strong-handed stop as the ball skipped just ahead of the goalkeeper Hibbert. But he deadens it and kills the contest off as it finishes 2-2 after regulation. Atlanta win the shootout 5-4 after 6 rounds. They finally are able to plant their foot and in the 7th get the job done. The man of the match, it's without much debate. Moises Tablante looked like he would secure things early, but it has to be Gabriel Wessa. His ball setting up Tablante for the first, who crashed one into the roof of the net on the left, and then this is what secured things for Wessa. Racing away onto the left, and the young man with confidence deposits it into the bottom corner. That was the lead at the time. Didn't get the chance to protect it across that final stanza of play. But his side do secure the advantage in terms of points gained on the night. For our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, and of course Peyton Gallagher. Once again, our final score is 2-2, Atlanta United 2. Win it 5-4 on penalty kicks. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass on Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. Folks, we'll talk to you soon. Good night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.